Sensitive content incoming.
Hey everybody, welcome to episode 17, I believe, of the Squatch and Yeti Show. I'm Squatch.
And I'm Yeti.
Yeah, got an interesting episode for y'all today, kind of piggybacks off what we've been doing recently. But before we get into that, man, how you been doing?
I've been good. Just tired. Work this weekend was very stressful.
Yeah, that indeed.
Sorry, scratching my head. Yeah, it's been fine. I just about to start making a little bit of a change in my life. I'm not sure if I'm going to follow through with it. I most likely will, but it's going to be a nice little undertaking I'm going to have to embark on, I would say.
Hey,
how you been?
Change is good, bro.
Yeah, well, I guess. Obviously not for you, because change for you meant your fence got broken more.
That's one of the many changes going on. All these storms we've had, like, as you saw, like, completely wrecked my trees.
Yeah.
And I had this, like, probably good 20, 30 foot long massive tree branch just hanging on by a thread. And would follow my neighbor's driveway if I didn't get it down. So I went out there and started cutting it down, and when it started to come down, it was either I cut it to where it falls towards me or toward my fence.
Which one do you prefer?
I preferred the fence, because I'm just going to say when I cut this, just the, like, I guess not the trunk, but like the bigger part of the tree
base.
stump.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just a like 4 foot section of that probably weighed over 150 pounds.
Oh, so you're getting your exercise then too, huh?
Yeah, you got my lifting while doing yard work. That was fun.
Yeah.
But other than that, got I know we've talked about this off the mics, kind of similar-ish changes I'm working on, like what you're doing, but
yeah.
Something's
got to be done, Kind of goes in line with that episode of being your brother's keeper, like it's not just your brother, you got to be concerned about your whole family. So
yeah, change is good. Even if it's not good, sometimes it's for the better, like if you're doing it for like family or whatever.
Right. And if I sneeze or cough during this, or my voice sounds weird, it's because my allergies have been kicking my butt.
It's the COVID.
Oh yeah, it's the COVID. No,
COVID 28 and a half or something like that.
I've been sleeping with my windows open, man. Like, it feels good in the area. Like, what? The high today is like 82, something like that. Not even
that.
Like, it's been feeling good outside. And house, dude, I had been opening up this morning. I woke up, looked at my thermostat. It was like 56,
dude, I'm
60.
wearing a hoodie right now. Like,
yeah, I mean, you're crazy. I'm not. I enjoyed the cool weather.
It's like a t-shirt hoodie, but
wow.
Like I don't ever wear sleeves, and like I went outside for a cup of coffee this morning, and I was like, it's a little chilly, a little nipply.
See, I want to start doing that. I might start doing that at my mom's house. Like, go over and be, hey, Mom, let's have a cup of coffee, and
dude, on days off, like, I'll just go sit out in the front or back porch, cup of coffee, maybe if I'm feeling it, might have me like a cigar that day or whatever. Smoking is bad, but,
So,
there's a lot of things I do.
Another thing I've been thinking about, that pit bull been running around the facility up there we work at?
Yeah.
Turns out it's over at the laundry lady's house, right?
Yeah.
And I was talking to her, and she's like, "Oh yeah, if you can coax him into your car, or can come get him, that'd be great." So I've been contemplating on going and getting that dog.
Do it.
He's a really nice looking male pit bull. I mean,
he seems sweet. Like,
well, she said that he is. Like, I'm concerned about it, man, because I don't know if I can have a dog just right now. So,
yeah, you can. You can always make it work.
Yeah, well, maybe. Excuse me. But yeah, other than that, it's been all right, man. It's trucking on.
I feel you, man.
Getting hiccups at the beginning of the episode. Hold on.
The hiccups, the coughing, the sneezing, stuttering.
It's bad right now. No, I'm not doing anything illegal. I'm holding my breath because of hiccups. Is it even legal? Still legal? Illegal? What is it nowadays?
It's federally decriminalized. It's a state issue.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
You can't officially buy it in Texas, but you can go to any smoke shop that sells
aware. I'm aware. I'm aware. Squatch can see the face, but you guys can't. He understands.
I think anyone that listens understands.
Probably.
But no, so kind of a little intro to this episode. The other night I was hanging out with my girl and some of her friends, and her friend's husband and me were talking about like anime and stuff like that, and kind of he got on the topic. He went to go watch the Deadpool Wolverine movie, and he was with his wife, and there was a trailer for supposedly like I don't know if it's a Lord of the Rings or the Lord of the Rings type of anime.
I think it's a Lord of the Rings type of anime.
But he saw it and got all excited, and of course her thing immediately was like, oh, it's something y'all two can do while the girls and the kids go hang out.
See, the second you said the kids go, yeah, you handle the kids. You two ladies go take all the little munchkins, and me and the guy will go have a grand old time of actually enjoying our time.
I was like, actually, I might have someone that might want to come along for that.
Yeah.
But we kind of got to talking about like, anime and different things like that, and so kind of got me thinking, like, Yeti, what are your thoughts on like fandoms, like out of all,
what
like,
it sound like you're going for,
the fandoms like out there, whether it be Harry Potter, Marvel, DC.
I think a few of them are really overrated, and some of them are drastically underrated.
What do you think is the most overrated one?
The most overrated, pretty hardcore tie, I feel like, between like Star Trek and Star Wars. Like pretty close third would be Lord of the Rings is pretty bad too. But like them people are a whole nother level. Like they will physically just try to destroy you in some form or fashion just to get their point across as to why Vader, which by the way, rest in peace to
James Earl Jones. The reason any of us that do any audio talking stuff like podcasting wish we had a really deep voice.
I was going to say, I'm not intentionally doing this voice. This is allergy voice. But yes, I wish I could do that deep, manly voice and like just really like, it strikes a chord. And I remember when he was Mufasa, man, like I loved Lion King as a kid.
Dude, I still love Lion King. Well,
I don't like the new shit that they've been trying to do, which I'm curious now because like he's gone. Did he do the voicing for that Mufasa film?
So what I've seen in like trailers and stuff, I don't believe because it's younger Mufasa.
Yeah, it's not.
I think it had someone else, but I want to say I'm at least hoping they, at the very least, had him kind of narrate the film or something.
Yeah.
You can't have Mufasa without James Earl Jones' voice.
Yeah. It's wild to think that he was also one of the biggest and greatest father figures.
Oh, for sure.
But simultaneously was one of the worst father figures in a whole other fandom of Star Wars. So, kind of ironic thing there. But no, I think those are the three probably top most fucking overrated, man. They're just so overly hyped. There's so much spin-off crap with them and everything. When you go to those conventions and them people are serious, which I get it. It's their hobby. It's what they love.
Yeah. But so my thing with how overboard they go, Marvel, DC, various cosplayers, they go overboard too, but I feel for me, but I like those a little better. So it's
I think it's all fantasy of some form or fashion, yes. but to a degree, I feel like Marvel kind of touches base, and DC kind of touch base with all those different things. So, like, you have the tech stuff from Star Wars, right? Like Iron Man and crap like that, and Guardians of the Galaxy. So you got your space adventures type stuff as well. But then you've also got like Thor and Doctor Strange and all these magical beings who give you that fantasy realm type stuff. And then you have like your typical stuff, like your soldier style like guys who love Captain America or Punisher and Deadpool because there's a lot of gunplay. Marvel, I'm not saying DC doesn't do it too. Again, though, I will state Marvel, I think, just does a better thing with dabbling into everything. Like, they're really good at it. Whereas a lot of DC stuff is like, nope, that's stupid. Like, there's comics out there where Wolverine's being hunted by the Predator, man. Like, have you seen that line?
I mean, there's also comics where Wolverine is Batman.
Yes, but they're nowhere near... I don't know. To me, they're nowhere near that. This is me being a fandom of Marvel.
See, like, my biggest thing with these fandoms is, like, the Marvel DC debate.
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer. I slightly, comic-wise, prefer DC. Cinematic-wise, prefer Marvel.
I prefer Marvel all the way around.
But like the debate and all that like there are guys that will die on the hill that if it's Marvel, it is trash. If it's DC, it is trash.
No, I know. But that's with anybody though, man.
It's like the Star Trek, Star
Wars debate, man. Like they're gonna fucking sit there like, oh, Vader could easily take care of your precious Captain Picard.
I mean, he could. Like I both those fandoms are a little overrated to me, but if I had to pick, like, I'm sorry, like,
I'm going with Star Wars. Like, Star Wars is just better. There's just a lot better to me character.
Star Trek had William Shatner and Professor X doing nothing cool other than telling people what to do.
Pretty much, like, it's not something for me. Whereas, like, in Star Wars, like, there's a vast thing you can do with there. Like, I mean, I'm pretty sure you could do the same thing like in Star Trek, whatever, but like bounty hunting, merchants and such.
They just go more into the story with Star Wars.
Yes. But like Star Trek, man, it's like you're part of like a naval fleet or something, right? Like you're part of some kind of space fleet or whatever. I don't know I don't watch Star Trek.
My dad watched it. I was never a fan.
Well, I thought about like trying to put it on like as the background noise because it kind of reminds me of olden times, but also like I wouldn't mind just hearing stuff I haven't heard before. Because back to your original question, is one of my favorite, especially currently, fandoms is Warhammer. Dude, Warhammer is such an amazing storyline, and it's ever so growing because the fandom is what makes the game. Like, it's a board game, it's a video game, it's books, comic books. I think there's some short animated films out there. I don't know, but it's fucking fascinating because why I like it so much is, say for instance, right now, if you wanted to be like, these whatever aliens are attacking these aliens, but in the midst of those two in their war, humanity finds itself caught between or whatever, right? You can put that into like the Wicca for Warhammer, and it just became continuity. That's how much that's why I'm like, that's so cool. Like you can't get that like with Star Wars and everything. Like you can create a story.
Yeah.
And
from what it sounds like, I haven't really played like Warhammer and stuff like that. But what it sounds like to me is it's like a really large scale version of like with what Nintendo did with Smash Brothers, and they're like, it's all just in here.
Yes, pretty much. So Warhammer is like a lot like D&D, like as far as like the board game stuff goes and all that kind of crap. You can create whatever you wish to create as long as it's within reason of like the realm that is Warhammer, which is like very grim, dark. I don't want to say it's post-apocalyptic. It's not that at all, because what had happened in as far as the Imperium of Man in the game, I'm going to really nerd out right here, is they started using technology, advancing it, but then somehow we're still maintaining like the cathedral. Like what's that style? Like the cathedral style, like architecture. Like that's the best way I know how to say it. Is like very like a like the old school like castles and churches and stuff, right? Like it was like
I know what you're talking about.
I don't know what that kind of style of architecture is, but that is probably what it is the best in this game, depicted by humanity. They've gone back to a quotation marks dark age, but it's a futuristic dark age of non-stop war with anything and everything. The different aliens, the mutants, the gene splicers, the parasitic alien type things, the chaos deities that are a thing that create even more problems. Like, dude, it's ever so expansive.
Sounds like you've spent a lot of time looking into this.
I really haven't, though. Like, I have barely scratched the surface. Like, other day I told you about like how there was I think I said it on here, the like blood orgy thing of like dark elves on a planet that created a chaos deity. It's not for the faint of heart, because like I put it on as background noise when I'm just watching stuff or playing a game or whatever. I just put it on, and I've learned quite a bit. Like there's very much so like for humanity to be a thing, they started utilizing machines and stuff. And I'm ranting, I get that, but like I love it because like of how the new game that just released, I am absolutely obsessed with, because it really shows you to scale. I'm like, this is why there's a dog nose on me. What's up, girl? And like why I think it's underrated is because you don't like you see games for it, yes, but they're not very highly rated. And I don't know, it's because maybe like people just don't really know much about Warhammer. But dude, I feel like it's severely underrated. I know it's overly priced. I'll say that much right now.
As most things in the game world are.
Like D&D, like the little figures and crap you can get, Warhammer's the same way. And it's just like, bro, can you knock down the price of a little like 2-inch tall minifig?
As long as so that is gonna be a thing as long as
people buy it.
As long as dumbass collectors are gonna keep driving the price up. Like that's the reason why like I won't buy. Like I love collecting like random things like Power Ranger stuff. Yeah, and I'll get on eBay and I'll see like old like Mighty Morphin toys and stuff, and I'm like, man, that's really cool. But I don't care if it's rare or whatever. I am not gonna give $300 for a 30-year-old piece of plastic.
No, yeah, dude, I like kind of in the same boat. Like,
I mean, that's why, like, with like old school games and stuff, I'm just like, See, I'll find the ROM for it.
I will go out of my way to get not like too terribly out of the way. Like, I'm not gonna go and drop like $100 or something for an old original Xbox game or PS1 game. They're not worth it. Like, you can only play it on the one system and everything. They was a different time frame, like I'm not like you said, I'm not dropping $100+ for nostalgia's sake is really all it would be.
I just like the collector market has gotten ridiculous. It's the same reason why.
Where do they get all the damn money? Like, dude, what do you do for your job? Like, what do you like? What is it that you're able to do that allows you to do all this? Like what job do you have? Like,
I mean, there's a guy I follow, and I will say this guy, his collectibles are expensive, but they're like, it's not just like some crap you can buy at Walmart. He's in like a Power Rangers fandom group that I'm in.
He does like custom work?
No, he waits because, with all the different buyouts and stuff, they're selling a lot of the old props.
Yeah.
And like he has bought some of the old monster suits.
Really?
Like that were used in Super Sentai and in the reshoots for Mighty Morphin. He has some of the old blasters, like the ones used on screen. Like,
that's awesome.
Those are expensive. But that guy, that's like, I looked at his profile and like all he does is collect crap.
That's wild though. It's like they just collect things to turn around and sell to another collector, and that's how they get their money?
Oh, he just collects them to have them.
Oh, okay.
Like, he has a whole, like, massive room in his house dedicated to...
So we still don't know what he does
fandom.
for money.
No, it's probably some, like, sit-at-home tech guy.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But
I'm doing the wrong thing. That's all I know.
Yeah.
Like, I need to get my education
But no,
back on
so,
order.
you know, we jumping off. Like, one of the most overrated fandoms to me is, and I love it, I just don't love it the way everyone else does.
Harry Potter?
Harry Potter,
Oh,
yes.
yep, I fucking knew it.
Like, Harry Potter's awesome. The books were great. The movies are good, but, like, it's kind of like Harry Potter and then the fandom of the weird stuff like Twilight.
Yeah.
Like, what I really hate is when they started showing up at, like, cons.
Yeah.
Like, used to, you know, you went to, like, Comic-Con, and it was, like, you know, dudes dressed like the Justice League and the Avengers, maybe some anime people. But now you got people dressed like, I'm from Gryffindor. Or
they're just some random character.
Or, like they're just
created.
wearing a black robe with glasses and a stick. And think, I'm a Gryffindor. I'm a Ravenclaw. And then you got, like, the Twilight ones are the worst because they just look like every wannabe grunge band from Seattle.
They
like,
just put sparkle paint on.
Yeah, like, just really pale and, like, sparkly paint on their chest and, like, oh, I'm cosplaying. Shut up.
What are you cosplaying? Being homeless?
Like, if you want to cosplay as an Edward, cosplay as Edward Scissorhands. That's dope. You show up looking like that, I ain't gonna make fun of you. Edward from Twilight. Yeah, screw you.
You're
Like,
sparkling. Yeah.
I'm gonna look you dead in the face and be like,
It's not how I imagine a vampire anyway either. That's another fandom I think that's fucking stupid too, is the Twilight fans are like, bro.
ruined werewolves and vampires.
It's just it's stupid as
all
hell.
this romantic vampire
Isn't that
crap.
it's not even romantic. It's not
Well,
romantic by any means. It's just some vampire that's like, no, I won't do it, but I want to, but I can't.
150 years old, and I'm gonna shack up with this 16-year-old.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
Think about that
Yeah,
pedo stuff.
but that's
or
pedo
the,
stuff.
The
or,
dog, dude.
But see, yeah,
and then when he
the
like
bestiality
imprinted
thing
on her daughter.
Yep.
Yeah, again, that's like.
It's
that whole
so what is
movie
it?
and stuff just bothered me.
It's the whole thing that like mainly women are really into it. It's like the quotation marks romance stuff, like in romance novels or like romance movies. That makes no sense, dude. Like you're just promoting really bad like relationship and or sexual activity.
Yeah,
acts.
like
you're in a lot of romance books. It's like, oh, and he swept me away from my loving husband and made sweet love
every
to me.
Hallmark
It's like,
movie
oh,
ever.
You're cheating. You want to be like you being a sleut. You over here cheating on your fucking dude who gives you everything.
Every Hallmark movie ever. The woman goes back to her really ridiculously over Christmas hometown
Yeah.
with her husband that's like a CEO that's at work for the holidays providing for her.
Yep.
Or her fiance or whatever. And then but she falls in love with an old flame that's a fucking
Yep.
Christmas tree farmer.
Yeah.
And he makes sweaters for old ladies and he's so sweet and adorable and he's so great.
As he's helping her commit adultery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then but it's she fell in love and had to follow her heart.
It's the same
because
thing in
she
those
is a
movies.
cheating whore.
Yeah, it's because the same thing in those movies, man. Those books and shit. Like they just like you said, like the weird dog. Like okay, it's one thing I get it. Like you both are like werewolves or whatever. Like it's whatever. But like vampire werewolf, okay, cool. But you were a human.
Yeah.
Like trying to get with a dead person. Let's be real.
Mm-hmm.
A vampire is an unalived corpse that is come back to life. So
A
now you're in
sparkly zombie.
necrophilia. Now you're doing necrophilia stuff. You're into bestiality apparently because you're all about that dog guy's little red rocket thing. And then you're like, man, make me dead because I hate my family and I don't care what I'll do to my father. I love you. All right.
And then let's have a baby together. And now when times get bad, so the werewolf clan doesn't attack us, we're going to have the werewolf that was into me imprint on our daughter.
That's so weird.
And I'm like, it's
weird.
And like when she's like supposed to be like teenage looking age and she's standing there with him. And I'm like, but hypothetically, she's like 3, 4, 5 years old, you know? Like she's still a kid.
Yeah, because the baby's like a full-on vampire, right?
Yeah.
Bro.
It's so messed up. Like, if you were a part of the major Twilight fandom, I'm sorry. I don't like you.
I'm not sorry. Don't like you.
I don't like you.
Like, you can continue not to like me. We can both keep on our separate ways. It's probably better that way.
Fun fact about, shitty fandoms. Snape, world's biggest simp.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Literally, first they paint him out to be the bad guy, which would have made total more sense. Like,
I do wish they would have kept him being a Death Eater and everything, right? Is that what they're called?
Yeah,
you know more
Death
about
Eater, but he was part of like Voldemort's camp.
There you go.
And but like, so essentially he's doing all this and protecting Harry because he loved Harry's mom. And I'm like,
everybody's protecting Harry. He has the biggest amount of plot armor known to fucking existence of any character. The book's
called Harry Potter. I know, but it's what I'm saying. If the book, like, if you are watching or reading The Flash and Barry Allen gets killed, you're kind of like,
it happens. It does.
Yeah, but that's in more like he dies in like Justice League stuff.
But like what I'm saying is like there's been plenty of comics where the Flash dies in his own comic, but they somehow bring him back.
Well, yeah, because time traveling. But like I'm just saying, like, okay, you're watching The Punisher, and you see Frank Castle get blown to pieces. You're kind of like, well, okay, where do we go from here?
I mean, technically, we did see him get blown up, but then he came back.
No, I mean legitimately killed, not plot armor killed. Like, if he's legitimately killed, like, you're like, okay, Avengers Endgame. If that would have been an Iron Man movie,
yeah,
where he died, you'd have been like,
they ended the Iron Man films good, yay, because Iron Man does die. Like, I would be okay if that, like, he had already had his little Iron Man saga, and then that's how they tied it together was Iron Man Endgame. Cool. The end of the movie is kind of in the title.
Iron Man 3, if he would have been decimated in Iron Man 3, it ends sad.
I was expecting it, actually.
But then now there's no completion of him in the Infinity Saga. None of that. I'm sorry, if that would have happened in an Iron Man movie, everyone would have been like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I mean, of course. But what I'm getting at was like the massive amount of plot. Like, everyone protects him. Like, he's not any golden child. He's not even particularly good with magic. Like, he was taught by one of the best, if not the best, wizard in Hogwarts. He had all these things set up for him to continuously make him like have that, like, oh, in the right nick of time, I arrived to class with the help of my pure, like, not wizard fucking friend's little amulet. Like, that kind of shit is what I was getting at. It's like, he doesn't do anything necessarily himself.
Well, yeah, I mean, look at Batman.
Yeah, he does stuff himself, though. He doesn't always rely upon his little sidekicks.
Batman would not be shit without Alfred.
Okay. Are you comparing Alfred to Hermione Granger right now? Because I guarantee you Alfred wins 100 times.
He does win 100 times. What I'm saying is, the story, Batman comics, if you buy a Batman comic, not even Batman and Robin, just Batman, who is still always there in his corner.
The bats.
No, Alfred.
Okay, the bats are also there too. Shit on everything.
I mean, literally, Alfred is like the dope. Another, I can go into this for hours, but Alfred is like the dopest person in the Bat family.
Yeah, we already all know that.
Like,
But
I mean,
I guess
the comic where
Okay, so here's something. Hold on, because now I'm thinking about it. Another really overrated fandom, and I'm partially to them, but not to the extent that they are. Dragon Ball fans. Yeah.
yeah,
No, everything about Dragon Ball is the same way that we're talking about with Harry Potter. Goku doesn't do a fucking thing on his own.
I mean, Goku does. If you look at the whole story, he does plenty by himself.
Oh, but he doesn't here recently. Now has he? He has to have Vegeta, Krillin. Like, come on, it's the same thing. He had Master Roshi teach him everything he knows.
Okay, the Dragon Ball saga is essentially about the whole group.
Oh yeah,
It's not called Goku.
that's what I'm getting at though. But he has the biggest plot armor next to Harry Potter. He has all the fucking forms, all of them. He always finds some way to succeed of some form of fashion. Like, come on. He dies and comes back, dies and comes back again.
I mean, yeah, but there again, okay, with fandoms,
I'm saying, like, it's same.
personal preference. I'll take Dragon Ball Z over Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, Star Wars any day of the week.
I will too, but what I'm getting at is, like, it's the same thing.
I want to talk about plot armor. Let's talk about Luke Skywalker.
Oh, yeah.
It was a shitty, untrained wannabe Jedi
taking on one of, like, the master of everything. Yeah.
Like, in that crap in The Mandalorian, when all of a sudden he comes and he's just, like, wiping the floor with everybody, and I'm like...
I mean, it's not too outlandish because, like, he did go and find stuff. Like, I've seen some of the story arcs and everything where, like, he wasn't perfect. Like, I feel like Luke Skywalker was more of a gray Jedi than anything because he dabbled in the dark side.
I mean, yeah, like, but I just... The only reason Luke Skywalker ever come out on top in Star Wars is because the story said so. There's no logical reason for him to.
Well, then by that logic, everything's the same way because the story said Harry Potter lives and fuck you. Like, it's the same thing, but it's all subjective. Yes.
Well, in Harry Potter, what results in him living is a massive war with tons of other much more experienced wizards having his back.
I guess. But that fucking guy, I hate, like, it has to be you, Harry, who kills Voldemort. Has to be you.
It's because Harry was the last Horcrux.
Well, Harry can Horcrux these nuts, okay? Yeah.
Like, Harry was literally vital to Voldemort's survival.
There's a tractor driving by.
Yeah, but...
It really, I was like, I think it's a tractor. Yep.
But no, so I'll tell you okay, outside of...
Tell me you live in a podunk redneck town without telling me you live in a podunk redneck town.
I'm going to start muting you when you interrupt me.
I'm sorry. That tractor thing caught me off guard. Like,
take your Ritalin and chill.
I don't need no Ritalin.
Yes, you do.
Continue.
But okay, so we talked about some shitty fandoms. I'm going to go with what's good, best question. Okay, what is your favorite fandom?
That's hard. Probably going to be Marvel. Just because, like I said, they kind of dabble in everything. Like, good games, good movies, good books, good like comic books as well as writing my books. Good everything. They got good action figures. They got good everything. They dabble in everything. They have a little bit of space adventure. They've got time traveling. They've got multiverse traveling. They've got martial arts, gunplay. You know, they got literally a little bit of everything done pretty well. Yeah. Like, if you really think about it, like they do. Like, they've got a lot of good characters that do really well in their own perspectives, like their own aspects, I should say. Like, Spider-Man games are fucking phenomenal. Some of the Spider-Man movies, like, I like the Tobey Maguire movies, but, like, I really enjoy Tom Holland's movies a lot more because he plays, to me, a better version of, like, a younger Peter Parker. I don't like his side characters, like Ned and his MJ, no. But him as the, like, main character, Peter, really fits well to me. Like, he's young, he's scared, he knows how to do certain things, but he still needs guidance, which is the same thing we saw, like, in cartoons. Like, yeah, he could take care of his own and everything, but he also, like, fuck, I need some help. So that's just the Spider-Man stuff. And, like, Blade is a great, technically, if you had no clue that was even a, like, Marvel thing, Blade's a really good fucking vampire film. It's a really good vampire comic line too.
Yeah.
You have the horror and gruesomeness in that. Then you've got Guardians of the Galaxy and the Nova Corps that quite literally give you your space exploration to the utmost fullest. So that's why I say Marvel has got my absolute fandom, because they dabble in everything. You want good action, like gunfighting, like you got Deadpool, Punisher. It's great. So,
see, for fandom, I got to go with something a little different. My favorite fandom,
excuse me,
is probably like the whole like Ninja Turtles universe.
Yeah,
and because for one, I mean, I grew up on Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, we both
loved all the characters from Shredder to Splinter, everything.
They didn't have bad villains. Like,
what I loved is essentially not only for one, because one of my favorite Marvel character stories is Daredevil, and the Ninja Turtles greatly influenced the Daredevil story.
Yeah.
Or Daredevil influenced them, one of the two. But anyways, beyond that, like the Ninja Turtles, for me, like when you get into like the comic book lore of them, first off, one of the best comic book stories that's come out in the last 15 years is The Last Ronin.
I thought you were gonna say it. I was like
Marvel and DC variant, all those, McFarlane, they've all come up with some really good comics. But dude, The Last Ronin is just,
it's really good. Like
it's one of those like legendary comics, I feel like.
Well, it's one of those things where like not everything's sunshine and rainbows is why. Like, and like,
but
if you don't know, like The Last Ronin, is it called Ronin or Last Ronin?
It's The Last Ronin.
Okay. That storyline, man, like I'm spoiler alert, the turtles die. Like a lot of their, like Splinter dies, Casey dies. A lot of them,
much everybody but April and Mikey.
Yeah, like they all are dead. So like it goes from being like a lighthearted, like, oh yeah, we beat Shredder this time, but he'll come back, you know, like doing the whole Power Ranger thing, right? Yeah. To being like really, damn, like yeah, this is a realm where like they really are fighting for their lives. And
well, yeah, and I love the whole like Ronin thing, because essentially, you know, people that don't know a lot about like samurai and like ninja culture and stuff, like
Japanese culture, you mean? You're like samurai and ninja culture.
That wasn't just directly related to Japan.
What?
But
what do you mean?
So ninjas were more of a Chinese thing.
Okay.
But the whole thing, like when they talk about The Last Ronin, the whole thing is like, it was kind of like once like Splinter died, basically with the turtles, it's like all bets are off. We don't care if it's a suicide mission. And that's the big thing with like the samurai, which that's why even in like World War II, the kamikaze pilots wore like the samurai bandana and all that, because to carry out the mission, if it involved suicide, they were going to do it, you know?
Yeah.
So, and I really like that, because it was like, okay, kind of all bets are off. This isn't just about crime fighting anymore.
Yeah.
And then so when it dwindled down to just Mikey, like it just
Well,
the fact that Mikey went that dark.
I was gonna say it escalates very quickly in the series, if I'm not mistaken, right? Like doesn't
did you know
doesn't Donnie die first?
I think so.
And then that kind of like sparks Raphael. Raphael gets pissed and fights Karai, and then they both kill each other. And then when Leo and Casey come back, like they get followed and overwhelmed at the turtle base.
Yeah, but like, so fun fact, did you know we got a setup kind of for that in the like OG live action Ninja Turtles?
Really?
So you remember the famous scene where, you know, they've attacked Splinter, they think Splinter's going to die and all this, or they capture him. And you see him go off in the woods, and you hear Ralph do the Splinter.
Yeah.
If you ever get a chance to rewatch that, pause during that. If you do it on a computer or something, pause and zoom in. It's not Ralph. It's Mikey. You see the nunchucks on his side. From what I read, like they felt like that was too out of character for Mikey. And I'm like, no, you just foreshadowed the greatest comic.
I was going to say, no, Mikey, like, I think there's even some other ones. What was it? It was one on Nickelodeon, the Ninja Turtle stuff. Like, Mikey's, like, stuck, like, in the Krang verse. Like, he's, like, stuck over there with all the Krang shit.
Yeah.
And, like, when they travel back through time, wherever to come get him or back through the portal, like, so much time had passed. Like, he kind of went crazy. But, like, he's super badass. So I feel like it's one of those things, like Mikey, with him being so carefree and like just goofy and like whatever, he's just trying to have fun, do this, do that, because he doesn't really want to fight. Like I feel like it's kind of fitting for him to become the last Ronin, or to in those different.
Well, I mean, it definitely makes
segments,
the story
like,
more interesting.
Yeah, because like he has to become this more serious one now because there's no one else.
Yeah, I mean, like any of them could have been the last Ronin. There could be a story there, but
but it's only fitting for it to be Mikey, though. Like in my personal opinion, because of how serious the other ones were. Of course, they would go first.
Yeah,
like,
well, like I mean, logistically speaking, in any kind of story, Ralph, he would be taken out real quick in a crazy situation because he is the most overly emotional. Like,
yeah, he's the hothead.
I love his character. He's one of my favorite turtles.
I could maybe see Leo being the first one. Leo going first because like he's trying to be like the leader and save his brothers.
Yeah, I could see that, but
and then Ralph goes because like that rivalry between Leo and Ralph, seeing Leo go in some whatever way would immediately set Raphael.
You're not going to be the hero.
Yeah, Raphael would go into some like just rage-fueled berserker mode, and that's how he would go. But
so here's the thing with Ninja Turtles: could you imagine if, say, Leo went first,
yeah,
and he got taken out, but then Ralph got Leo's blades?
That's what I'm saying.
Total different outcome right there.
That's what I'm getting at. Is
you
that
give
Ralph
him sharp objects?
Ralph would go completely berserker rage. Like he would
be like the Vikings. Like when the Saxons come back, they fought like demons.
No, because Raphael was always the one that was. He would have been the best turtle if he just could keep a level head.
Yeah,
but because he couldn't keep a level head. That's why he got defensive size.
One of my things with the Ninja Turtles, like what's made me so big into their fandom, though, is getting into the like newer comics and stuff like that, because they have the best crossovers with my other favorite like fandom universes. Like I know we've briefly talked about it on here, like the Ninja Turtles crossover with Power Rangers.
Yeah,
was great. I love their stuff with the Justice League and like Batman and stuff like that. I like comic crossovers.
I don't mind them. It's just like if it's if it's something that seems fitting, like I wouldn't want to see some, like, for instance, I wouldn't want to see Ninja Turtles in what I'm trying to think, like in the Watchmen type comics. Like that doesn't make sense. Like, why is Dr. Manhattan talking to Donatello? You see what I mean?
I feel like that'd be a really interesting conversation.
I'm not saying it wouldn't be, but it's not fitting, you know? Like, I wouldn't see Power Rangers and the Boys. Like, that's not how that, like, those would not cross well. Like, that's what I was getting at. Like, some of the other stuff, too, doesn't make sense to me. Like, what was it? DC had Godzilla versus DC, or Godzilla versus Superman or something.
Godzilla versus the Justice League.
Yeah, there you go. Same shit. Godzilla's not really fighting into the Justice League. He's fighting just Superman. But that was kind of crossovers. Like, I understand what they're getting at, but it just...
Well, so with the Godzilla and the Justice League thing, it was much more... Like, Godzilla's the main deal, but it's like the MonsterVerse.
No, I know. That's why I get it, but it's just like... It didn't make much sense to me, because like all it was like the Legion of Doom trying to utilize the kaijus to fight the Justice League for them.
At one point, Gorilla Grodd is trying to like mind control King Kong.
Yeah,
and
I don't understand how that would even work. Like, just because it's still a gorilla doesn't mean his brain isn't bigger than yours. Like,
true, but like. Also, like, Kong didn't have psychic powers.
True.
Like Gorilla God. But it's the same thing with the the Power Rangers MonsterVerse crossover.
I'll just say that one, but that one makes sense though to me, because like Power Rangers already fight giant monsters. So it just that's what I was about to get to next. I was like, I like the Godzilla versus Power Ranger thing though, because it kind of makes sense. Like, you have Dragon Zord fighting Godzilla. Like, that's fucking sick. All that is
the
Mecha
Dragon Zord getting just completely wiped out by Godzilla.
Of course. Yeah, why wouldn't it?
My favorite thing about that comic is...
It's still cool, though.
When you see, at some point, I think it's on the last issue, the cover has Godzilla basically using the Dragon Zord as armor.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that right there made it worth it.
Mm-hmm. I'll say it's just that kind of shit's cool. Like the Ninja Turtle crossover, the Power Rangers, where Shredder steals the Green Ranger power. It kind of makes sense. Like, of course, Shredder would go for the most powerful coin. Why wouldn't he?
Well, I mean,
like, and it fits him so well. And then you have
weird if Shredder would have got like pterodactyl coin.
But that's what I'm getting at. It fits so freaking well. And then you have where like Rita makes Rocksteady and Bebop the size of kaijus, and now you've got the Megazord fighting Rocksteady and Bebop. But like, they're still able to do their same shit, but they're just huge.
Well, I mean, like, the Power Rangers and Ninja Turtles have been crossing over for off and on for a while.
No, yeah, but it makes sense to.
Like, Power Rangers in Space, that was like one of my first like cool crossovers I ever seen in like a TV show.
Yeah, which something I wish that Power Rangers would do is focus more on the villains. Like, I would love to see like
give me like 3 episodes of villain.
Yeah, like give me like the Psycho Ranger stuff was amazing.
Yes, because it was a story.
Yes, I loved it, and like I love how like there's even stuff that predates it that is now continuity of like the Green Psycho and everything. That's so fucking cool. Like, hell yeah, man. Like, I love that kind of shit. Like, that's like what I'm saying. Like, those kind of crossovers make complete sense to me. Some of them that don't make sense is like you wouldn't see like, I mean, it kind of would fit, I guess, to a degree, but like Star Wars and Lord of the Rings being meshed together. Like, I just don't see Frodo chatting it up with Luke Skywalker, and then Vader comes in alongside Sauron. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it'd be kind of a little odd.
Like, just those kind of things don't make sense.
Okay, so you brought up like my favorite villain out of all fandoms. What's your favorite villain? give 3 if you can't
I'm
pick
about
one.
to say it's gonna be hard to pick just one, but out of my top 3, I think my favorite villain from Marvel would have to be the fuck's his name? It's kind of a tie between Magneto and Doom, really. Like I want to say Doom because he can kind of like do a little bit again everything. Like he's magic, he's wealthy, he can fight hand to hand. Like the guy is pretty crazy. I'm gonna go with Doom for Marvel. My second, Warhammer is the thing I'm obviously been on lately. On the Warhammer thing I like so much, I would have to say the Chaos Legions that like will randomly just like it. You have, and that the reason why that's my favorite is because you have your typical soldiers, your Imperium of Man, that are fighting their ancestors who were taken over by chaos energy and mutilated and tortured into these abominations. So it's like they're fighting an evil version of themselves. Does that make sense? And then, of course, Power Rangers. My favorite villain is probably going to be Lord Zed.
It's good choices. Like my top 3 are kind of, well, besides like Warhammer, like in the kind of same realm. I'll go like with Marvel. My favorite villain, gotta say, like he wasn't the most badass per se, but his story was my favorite, and I mean the comic book, not the movie version. Gore the God Butcher.
Yeah.
His
that's pretty
actual
good
story is insane.
Yeah, they did not.
He's one
do
of
it.
those like you can you not identify with the villain, but like
It makes sense as to why he's a villain.
Like if you read his whole story, you're like, and they kind of touch on it a little.
They didn't do it justice in the movie
Because in the whole like they just show in the movie where he's just miserable and all his people are dead, but like
yeah.
I seem to recall in the comics like his daughter was dying and he begged for her to live to the gods and they denied him.
Yep.
And the Gore the God Butcher story was just so good. And I was hoping with Christian Bale playing him it would have been great.
They were the last few, I think, like couple people. Like there was people still in their tribe, but like of that entire planet that worshipped that deity, that just declined him. Like he just renounced it. Like they kind of did that part right, but it wasn't. I wish he was more of like the alien. Like I really wish they would have had Christian Bale wearing like some kind of headdress that resembled Gore from the comic.
But comic book Gore is my favorite Marvel villain. I'm not saying he's the best. He's just my favorite.
Yeah, no, it's I would choose that too.
My no. DC is one of my other favorite lores.
Get your booty off me, nasty.
And DC, I have like a two-way tie. You're
gonna say Darkseid, aren't you?
No.
Don't you lie to me.
Actually, it's Ra's al Ghul or Lex Luthor.
So I think that's why I like Doom so much, is because he's kind of like Marvel's Lex.
Yeah, well, like I mean, especially when you look into like the multiverse with Lex Luthor, where he's a good guy, he's basically their Iron Man.
Yeah, that's true.
But he kind of is like that mix of like if Batman and Tony Stark could just went evil.
Yeah.
And then I mean I've been saying this for years as far as Ra's al Ghul. I want a movie called The Rise of Ra's that like shows him becoming the Demon's Head and starting or whatever, like the League of Assassins. That would be an insane movie. And the dog's making weird noises.
It sounded like she was trying to throw up.
But that's like a two-way tie there for the DC. Now, Power Rangers, because we already talked about my favorite villains, the Psycho Rangers, close number 2 with them is Ivan Ooze. I know he's not like canon to the story.
Yeah.
But dude, like watching that movie as a kid, like the whole like Kimberly, you don't know who you're messing with. We're the Power Rangers. Where's my autograph book?
His
he
like
was snarky.
Was his like blatant disrespect? Like he didn't care. Like yeah.
Like he was hilarious, and honestly, dude, he took everybody out.
Yeah.
Rita and Lord Zeb, you're in a snow globe. Power Rangers took them out. Freaking Zordon basically put him in a body bag.
Yeah.
Gave Alpha a virus, wrecked the command center. Now, the one thing that killed me was, when they were, like, when he sent the Tango Warriors to the other planet to fight them, I'm like, why didn't you send, like, your purple dudes? Because they were giving the Rangers hell at the beginning. But I just loved his character. Like, he's just straight up, like, like the video I posted on Facebook the other day where this girl's like, nah, he was the GOAT of Power Rangers villains. He was selling lean to kids. He was making the parents work for him and then just gonna kill all the parents. Like, it's like Ivan Ooze was like the dopest villain in Power Rangers. Like,
yeah.
Like Lord Zed was like, I want to take out the Power Rangers. Ivan Ooze is like,
no.
Angel Grove, I'm just going to take it all out.
Yeah.
People, buildings, whatever. That's like my favorite Power Rangers villain, other than the Psycho Rangers.
Well, that makes sense.
There's others with great stories, though. Was it from In Space, like Andromeda or whatever? She wound up being the Red Ranger's sister.
Yeah, and then
the Pink Ranger in Lost Galaxy at one point.
I say, yeah, she comes back as the Pink Ranger for Lost Galaxy.
Which Lost Galaxy is one of the
really
first
dark
seasons
story
where they actually like killed off a Power Ranger.
Yeah, when they started doing it with Time Force as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, they started to go
Get a little dark. I was all excited.
Yeah, like they killed a bitch off. I'm excited.
I didn't like the Pink Ranger in Lost Galaxy, so when they brought Corone back,
You want to know why they killed her off?
Well, she was like,
she had cancer.
Yeah, like she was not going to be able to finish. She was dying anyway. Yeah. So they just
she couldn't do
they
it.
They could have wrote her off as like she got a disease and couldn't be a ranger. No,
they just like, oh, we're gonna have her. Well, they did have her die, like in a quotation marks heroic way.
Yeah.
So makes sense, but yeah, I was like, that sucks.
But like, could you imagine like Power Rangers Zeo? When the story with the Gold Ranger and Triforia, whatever. If it would have been like Jason got the powers because Trey got killed.
Well,
would have made that story take a total different turn.
The powers were killing Jason.
Yeah, well, the Zeo powers were essentially killing all of them.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, that's what Zordon says, like, the Zeo powers are greater than any other power in the universe.
Yeah.
And so the fan theory is that the reason... Because there was no explanation to why they switched to Turbo other than the real reason they ran a Sentai footage.
Yeah.
But,
I think what it is like the Zeo crystals were draining their life.
Yeah.
Most likely. Like if it is obvious, if it is killing them, then that's what's going on. Like, so it also makes you wonder, like, why maybe the crystals are based upon the person's own strength.
Maybe so.
So that's probably why, like, they're the most powerful, is because like, if you give them to a powerful person, that just is enhanced.
Yeah.
So that's probably why.
But fun fact, that was a villain I could not stand. King Mondo.
Why? I couldn't stand Rocket Tits in the next one.
I just
the one from I think it's Power Rangers in Space where like she's got like the spiral booby guard things on. Like I don't remember. She has like the weird like half metal face and always had like really dark, bright reddish dark lipstick.
That wasn't in Space, I don't think.
I don't remember. It might have been Turbo. that person. Like they had like the Aqua minions and shit.
Yeah, that was a Turbo.
Okay, yeah. Well, that one is. I guess I was like, I couldn't stand her, but I wanted to understand her. So.
I don't know. She didn't play her role great, but she looked great playing it.
That's all that mattered to me when I was
a
young
space. Boy. Like that's the reason why. Like, we were kids watching that, didn't pay that much attention to it. But then when my kids got into Power Rangers, I'm like rewatching it, and I'm like,
I had to put stuff in there for the adults to tolerate, man.
Like, no wonder my dad always watched Power Rangers with me.
Yes,
he'd be like, this ain't that one with that nagging bitch Rita is, and I'm like, no, it's the one with Andromeda. Oh, well, I'll hang out with you.
You got some good-looking 20-year-old girl acting
like purple hair and black leather.
They wearing black leather latex style outfit with purple hair. Well, of course, you get a full-grown man watching a show with your kid. Why not? You're getting a softcore porn in your head right now.
Looks like the girl in my videos. Fun fact, though, there's a fan film from Unworthy Studios. If you are a Power Rangers fan, check them out on YouTube. They do this series where it's a guy called the Arbiter traveling across the multiverse, killing Rangers. Anyways, he goes into this universe where, first off, total rip-off of The Mandalorian, where Andros comes in, hood up, his little drill saber thing, taking everybody out. But in this universe, instead of becoming good, Corone, his sister, become the purple Psycho Ranger. And so she's rocking the Psycho Ranger armor, but still has like her gauntlets on her arms.
Yeah.
And that's like her weapon. Huh. And it's a really sick series. And they actually have the guy that played Andros from Power Rangers playing him in the show. But I don't know. She would be like a number 8 character villain on there for me. Like, she was good. Now Ecliptor
was cool.
He looked awesome. I think probably as far as evil henchmen in that series, Ecliptor and Goldar.
Yeah. Well, Goldar's just the OG is why.
Yeah.
I didn't really like many of can you get your nasty wet dowels off my hands? Go on.
Slap her face.
Gosh.
Go lay down.
Got my hand just over here on my leg. I just feel nasty wet dog lips all over my hand. Gross. I hope that's water that was on your mouth or something. Ugh.
Hopefully.
Hopefully. Yeah. No, I have to agree, man. Ecliptor was pretty cool. I didn't care too much for many of the other stuff that came after that. The henchmen and stuff really weren't that cool. And I hated how in Dino Fury. Was it Dino Fury? Dino Thunder. In Dino Thunder, they had the whole Evil Ranger thing come back. And then they did it again, I think, in Dino Chargers. They had another Evil Ranger. I'm like, can we stop doing the Evil Ranger thing?
Well, that's always been a thing with Sentai and Rangers because they did it.
I get it, but here in the U.S., it doesn't play out that well, in my opinion. I didn't like Dino.
Fan polls say otherwise.
I guess I hated the Dino Thunder White Ranger thing. I hated him. I hated him so much.
I liked his character story because it turns out his father was
the villain,
and also the guy that kind of screwed Tommy Oliver over.
Yeah.
So it's and then he winds up on Tommy's side.
Yeah.
Lightspeed had the Titanium Ranger, which was one of the first American exclusive Rangers. It wasn't in Sentai. He was kind of an anti-hero at first. He wasn't evil, but he was kind of...
See, and that's what I like about what they've recently done with the Green Ranger. Is they made a whole nother Ranger. He's not with the Power Rangers, but he's not against them.
Yeah, it's the kind of kind of like the Gold Ranger was when Trey was the Gold Ranger. Like he kind of come in and was like not like buddied up with the Rangers, but he would come like wipe the floor with the enemy and then dip out.
Yes. Like I don't mind that kind of stuff, but like some of them are just like they take it too far. Like they like, dude, I like what was it? Like I said, Dino Chargers had another one. I couldn't stand it. I was like, stop doing the fucking like secret ranger is evil, or that's the other thing too I don't like is the constant introduction like, oh, how many more rangers can we have to the team? And now there's like 12 rangers on one team. I'm like, bro.
Yeah, so one of the weird ones, I want to say it was a Samurai. It was one of the newer ones. My son was watching it a couple weeks ago. No, it was like Samurai something or other. And like I'll watch it with him because whatever. Like I'll watch Power Rangers with my kid.
Yeah,
I've watched way dumber stuff with kids. So
you watch kids do dumb stuff.
But like at one point, like one of them's dad comes. They've already got the 6 Rangers. And the dad comes back as a ranger, and there's like 9 rangers. I'm like, is this like a Slipknot cover band of Power Rangers?
That's what I was getting at, dude. Like, it just doesn't make like
they take it a little too far.
Yes,
but you also kind of take it as like I can't totally blame like the Power Rangers directors and stuff because they have to go with their source material.
No, yeah, I get.
And so if they want to keep finishing the season, we've got to find a way to use these other Sentai characters and whatnot.
No, I get it, but it's just fucking hell. Like, you're going to have all of these characters. Like, there was no character development. Like, you're just, oh, he's a barista from Starbucks, but he's got attitude. So, therefore, he's the coffee bean ranger. Like, bro, watch out. His favorite weapon is latte squirt. Like, dude. I'm good. Like I'm all right.
I call on the Mocha Blaster.
Espresso machine. Make him too hyperactive to sleep. She's like, she just likes chewing on herself. Like, jeebus.
Yeah, she's weird. She might be a crackhead.
I think she's a crackhead.
So, okay. Outside of that, what is one of your or some of your favorite anti-heroes?
You should already know this. You know what I'm
I know you're going to say Venom at some point.
Like Venom is my by far favorite. The reason being is because I was first introduced to anti-heroes from that Spider-Man cartoon when we were kids. Who was the first anti-hero we ever got witnessed? Venom. Venom was amazing. Like, he wasn't...
So really, the first one I was introduced to, I mean, it was around the same time. Actually, Wolverine. Because you got to remember, yes, Wolverine was an X-Man, but he did not always...
adhere to their stuff and everything.
There was plenty of times, like... But he just went off and did his own thing.
When I was a kid, though, same age as you, I hadn't seen X-Men yet. I didn't even see that until after I seen Spider-Man, and I don't know. Wolverine's always been a good character. Is he like he? It's not really. It's kind of like the Bucky Barnes thing with being the Winter Soldier. Like, he had issues. Wolverine never was a bad person. He had stuff happen to him, and he always finds himself in precarious situations where the villains are after him because of some trophy or chip on their shoulder or something. So he comes off as an anti-hero, but I really don't think that he is.
Well, I mean, if you look at any of the outside of the X-Men, like more Logan-centered stories, he's like 100%. Like, I don't want to come play superhero dress up. I don't want to do all this. But like his guilty conscience is like, well, crap, I do got to save these kids.
Yes, but he's not like going out of his way to cause shit though either, like how villains do.
Well, like, I mean, that's kind of what an anti-hero is though.
But like, an anti-hero will is what I think of like how Venom and Deadpool are. Like they they have their own agenda, yes, but it's not like Logan is just wants to be left alone.
Yeah.
So maybe if you like, I can see how Wolverine, Logan, or whatever you want to call him, one of his other alter things is fucking Weapon X. So Weapon X Wolverine, I would say, is an anti-hero. Wolverine himself, hero. Logan himself, I could see him being an anti-hero because he doesn't do villainous shit, but he's like, I'm not going to be doing the hero thing either. I get that.
Well, it's like,
but when I think of
the Venom comics and stuff, like where they have, I believe at one was like the Agent Venom comics and stuff, where like I want to say, like, because that's Flash Thompson, and I think he's actually with like Felicia or whatever.
Yeah.
And at one point, because like when Venom takes the reins, like Venom is all after Peter Parker. But then when, and so he's kind of doing some villainous stuff, even though it's like just off his own agenda. But then, when something happens to Felicia, him and Spider-Man put their shit aside and go take care of that.
That's what I'm saying. Venom is my favorite anti-hero.
But that's very similar to like what Wolverine does. Like when he'll be like doing something, his own thing. And then, he's focused on that, but, he finds, like, people being held captive there, too. Well, then he's like, okay. He's like, I don't have time for this. And he winds up saving them. But ultimately, he's there to cause death and destruction.
I guess.
Like, to me, that's kind of what an anti-hero does. Like,
I mean, I'm assuming so, but like, I always feel like the anti-hero thing is kind of more along the lines of like Red Hood and shit like that. Like, they're gonna do things their way and not adhere to like the moral compass and righteous way about doing it. Does that does that make sense? So I guess that's what you're saying. Like a Wolverine, like he's not gonna be like, let me pull my punch and not murder this guy.
Like, yeah, like, he was an X-Men, but when it come down to it, Wolverine, much like, when you see Deadpool with Colossus, and
yeah,
he's like, we don't kill, and Wade's like, yeah, well, fuck that. That's kind of Wolverine's mentality. Like, he's just he's less funny about it.
I guess.
I think that's the thing where it's what makes him and Deadpool such good characters together.
Yeah.
It's because they're very similar. They're both horrendously violent, very skilled, all this. But, Deadpool is so freaking hilarious, whereas Logan doesn't want to have a sense of humor.
No.
That's like, and everyone we've mentioned thus far is like kind of on my list of like anti-heroes. But one of my favorites is gotta probably be Red Hood.
I figure yours is gonna be Red Hood. Like, everything screams about what you like. It's DC, it's a Bat family, trained by League of Assassins. Took a beating from Joker, come back with a different mindset of, no, fuck that. So, like...
Well, like, I mean, my thing with him is, like he always, in the end, winds up the good guy. But he, like, even the really horrendous things that Jason Todd does as Red Hood are kind of in the name of still being good.
No, yeah, and he's the closest representation. He's quite literally DC's Punisher.
Yeah.
Like, died, supposedly, come back, more badass than before, more guns than
Punisher
before.
Would probably be my number 2 in anti-heroes.
Yeah, I kind of figured that as well. I was like, I'm surprised you didn't say Punisher. Like, I was expecting to be like, well, DC, Red Hood, Marvel, Punisher. Like, I know somebody who's probably right there with you, and they're going to be listening to this. And I get it. Like, it makes sense, but, like...
You know me, I have a thing, like, for the superheroes without superpowers.
Yeah.
That just...
And you want to know why why a fucking Venom is my favorite? Why? His arc is amazing. And really, like, the most recent thing, like, with Null...
Yeah.
Keegan Black and all that stuff is so good. And
I mean,
what makes
Venom.
it so
He's
good,
probably in my top 5.
If you haven't checked out Comic Historian, I think still has it. He does the whole I don't know if Benny did it or not, but they they condensed down all of the Venom YouTube clips into one long one, I believe. I
want to say that was a Benny episode, I'm pretty sure.
I hope so. I would like to. I might go listen to it while I do my dishes today. But in that, you get to see, like, how Eddie Brock really feels about everything and what he has to endure and deal with. Like, he's trying to save his son. He's trying to save all these people. A unknown, ungodly powerhouse entity is taking over the planet with the greatest of ease, and the Avengers, all the heroes in Marvel, are having nothing but issues. Even the Sentry gets fucking mollywopped by the King in Black, which is Null. Eventually, however, they reveal that there's two... It's like the yin and yang of the universe, right?
Yeah.
Like, where there's dark, there's light. Well, guess what? The King in Black is the literal representation of nothingness and darkness. That's why he's able to communicate with the symbiotes across the multiverse and everything. Like, he is the progenitor of all of it. However, where there's darkness, there's light. In the comic line story, spoiler alert, the light chooses Eddie Brock, brings him back to life as Venom something or another. Venom has so much power, he quite literally takes Mjolnir and the Silver Surfer's board and melds them into a giant battle axe, to which he proceeds to unalive Null with.
Yeah, that's one of...
You need to catch up on that one.
I've watched it. It's just been a while.
Dude, but... Venom is, like I said, he is so amazing. And I get why he might be an overrated character, because it's like one of Spider-Man's... And this is another thing
I don't think he's overrated. I mean, Venom's always been one of the greatest characters in the Spider-Man story.
Oh, absolutely. But some people find it overrated, though, because of how, like, he's got Carnage. He's got all these different spin-offs of him. Like, does that make sense?
Yeah, no.
That's why.
The only versions of, like, Venom, and I even like Carnage, too. Like,
I don't like Carnage. I do like Anti-Venom, though, because... I'm a sucker for that yin and yang thing.
Yeah.
Anti-Venom is quite literally the opposite of Venom. Like, he's opposite color. He does the opposite shit. He doesn't control his human host. He lets the human host control it. Like, he's the exact opposite of Venom, and I think that's cool as shit.
But the only iteration of, like, Venom that I've never really liked is, do you remember, it's like Spider-Man 3000 or whatever or something. Anyways, it was a cartoon in like the late 90s, early
like
2000s.
2099.
Kinda, but it wasn't like the Miguel O'Hara story. Like Spider-Man had like this little half cape.
Oh, I know that was quickly like I know what you're talking about. I
as
can't
a
remember.
kid, I couldn't even get into it, but I remember like Venom and Carnage like were just these wild roaming symbiotes.
Yes, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Like they didn't have a host, and I just was like, no, like
I didn't like those renditions either.
It takes a lot for me to not like a Venom, but
yeah, it's
that or have Topher Grace play him.
Yeah. He just got the Jared Leto thing is all it was, man. Like Jared Leto would have not done the Joker he had. He probably would have had a better Joker. Like, that's how they wanted him to portray Joker, though.
Topher Grace was just not a good Eddie Brock.
He didn't have he didn't have the build for it.
Eddie Brock is like some big buff ex-con looking dude.
That's what I'm getting at. Is like they just like, we're gonna have you play Venom. We're gonna / Eddie Brock, and he's like, oh, okay, I really
on,
need a
Eric.
job. Yeah, I really need a job right now, so I'm taking this.
Well, he quit that 70s show and wanted to end it because he was, I'm going to be in like superhero movies now. I'm going to be Venom. And like, I could have seen him play like a half-ass okay Spider-Man, maybe.
I would have seen him. He would have been better as a Flash Thompson. If he would have been Flash Thompson, because Flash Thompson wasn't as big as Eddie, so he could have gotten away with being a smaller Flash Thompson. But when he gets the symbiote on him as anti-Venom, that kind of like bulks him up, would have made much more sense.
If they could have at least got Topher Grace to like bulk up for it.
Yeah, it might have made some sense.
And his personality as Eddie was much more of Flash Thompson.
That's
like kind of that just douchebag, cocky high schooler.
Yeah, and he had like the blonde hair and shit that I know Flash and Eddie both have.
Yeah,
but I was like, this should just be Flash. Like that should be Flash Thompson, and
like
it
if
wasn't.
they could have skipped to Agent Venom, would have been okay.
Yeah,
like even Tom Hardy, as much as I love him, he doesn't have the build for Venom.
So there could be some hope for that, though, too, if they were to want to reprise Topher or whatever the hell guy come back as anti-Venom. Like, if people do listen to this podcast and might give it some credit, like, that could be a way to make an anti-Venom into the like MCU multiverse type shit.
Yeah.
Because I know recently they just announced that, like you showed me as well to verify it, that, like, they're thinking about having Wesley Snipes' Blade be the MCU's Blade.
Which would be amazing.
Exactly. So why couldn't they have another, whatever the hell, Eddie Brock from Tobey Maguire, like I can't say his name, Topher, you said, right?
Topher Grace.
Topher Grace, thank you. They have Mr. Grace come in.
Eric Foreman.
There you go, I'm going to call him. They have Eric come in and him just play Flash again as Flash, but not Eddie. But he's a quotation marks variant or whatever is the terms they're using now of anti-Venom. They could easily do that because
it could work.
He did have the Venom suit on in the third Spider-Man film.
So
I know he gets killed, but you and I both know that Venom has the abilities to regenerate its host.
Yeah. So it's funny talking about those Tobey movies and stuff. The guy that played Flash Thompson in there, I mean, I don't know if he's even still acting now. Maybe he could have got fat or something.
He should have played Eddie.
Well, like, imagine if they would have just got a better guy for Eddie, or skipped over Eddie altogether, and just have Flash Thompson be Agent Venom.
Well, they could have still had Flash Thompson as Venom because they like you just said, they could have done Agent Venom.
Yeah,
that would have been so good.
Honestly, both of the Flash Thompsons we had in the previous Spider-Man could be cool as that. Now I'm sorry, the dude they got playing Flash now, absolutely not. No.
In the Tom Holland ones?
Yes.
That's fucking terrible.
Like, no, that'd be horrible. I don't like the guy they have playing Ned.
I don't like the Ned dude. Like, he's a quirky, funny, goofy little character. That's fine. But, like, I don't like Ned. I don't like their
For
Flash.
the simple fact of Ned, because they've not established any Oscorp or anything in that universe.
Yeah.
To get a goblin, we have to use Ned. Come on, bro. We both big. Think that board gonna be flying around New York City with that dude on there? Like, maybe he's gonna get really disciplined and drop the weight. And I mean,
I was gonna say maybe like they have it to where like maybe Ned isn't his actual persona. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean,
maybe that's all just a thing to get close to Peter Parker. Like, that's still a thing they could pull out of their ass.
Well, yeah, but I mean, what I'm saying is because like there is comics where Ned Leedles becomes Green Goblin, or not Green Goblin, Hobgoblin.
Yeah,
and I'm fine with them skipping over Green Goblin and doing Hobgoblin.
Well, I mean, we kind of just had a really good Green Goblin come back, so
like you just
kind of hard to top that.
You're not gonna top.
You can't
Willem
get
Dafoe. No,
William Dafoe's Green Goblin is immaculate, and
he is as good, if not better, than Heath Ledger's Joker.
Yeah, like it's pretty damn good. Like I I honestly would like to see a Green Goblin film, like, of him.
Yes.
That would be, like, call it, like, Goblin or something, right? Like, that would be something simple, but yet that's abundantly clear what the film's about. And
do a film that's like the uprising of Osborn, but then, like, in secret, he's working on this super soldier serum.
The reason why they could easily do this is because at the end of No Way Home, they didn't kill him.
No, he got sent back.
So being sent back, did he go back to his timeline where he becomes unalive by Spidey? Or is this like a little thing like when Loki took the Tesseract when they were traversing the multiverse in the quantum realm? Remember?
I mean...
So does that mean that Green Goblin technically isn't dead, and nor is Doc Ock?
Well, yeah. So, and they're supposedly they went back to their timelines or whatever,
but they now know what they've did. Or does that change too? Because I know, like, that's the whole thing. Like, Doctor Strange is wiping everybody who knew that he was Spider-Man. So that would mean, like,
crazy idea. Green Goblin goes back to his timeline, right?
Yeah.
But now he's not evil. Now, I mean, unless the anti-serum that he was given, like, took away, like, his strength and all that.
Yeah.
Because if it didn't do that...
He still has that split personality.
Well, I mean... But if it didn't take away that, like his strength and all that, well, now go back to his universe, Spider-Man's got a sidekick.
Yeah.
Or maybe, like, you know...
Another thing I just realized is, didn't that Green Goblin leave his helmet in that fucking alleyway? Because, like, he's in the alleyway, like, talking to the helmet, like, freaking the fuck out. And he destroys the helmet, right?
I think so.
I'm assuming he just leaves it there.
Because he doesn't have it on anymore.
Nah. After that, he puts on this little, like, scarf thing he puts over his head, like a little hood.
Yeah.
Which kind of gave a little hint to, like, a hobgoblin, like OG Green Goblin type thing.
Yeah.
So it makes me think, what if that's how Ned comes across the pieces and then, like, puts it back together because he's a big fan of Legos?
Yeah.
I mean, that might be a way they transition him into a goblin, and he's tired of being Peter's Alfred.
Yeah, or maybe, you know, he does that, and whatever weird, like, personality that goes with the Green Goblin somehow affects him.
Yeah.
And then, but say, because, you know, obviously, like I said, like, you can't have a 300-pound hobgoblin.
So that's what I'm
not
getting
trying
at,
to fat shame the dude, because I think the guy that plays Ned is freaking hilarious.
He's great, but he doesn't play. He would not be a good Green.
But so say he loses the weight, and, like, the whole thing is implied that, you know, he got this Green Goblin super soldier serum thing, and, like, it helped him, like, drop the weight, get kind of buff.
So. Question: how does Tom Holland's come across his spider powers?
They don't really show it, but
he was supposed to, like, he, like, gets bit or something.
Yeah,
but, like, they haven't shown any of that, right?
Well, they didn't really show the backstory on his because they were like, we've seen the backstory on Spider-Man.
But that's what I'm getting at is, like, what if they show another. Like, they're on, like, a school trip through Oscorp, and Ned gets stuck in one of the chambers by being curious or some shit, and gets fucking dosed by the chemical that makes the Green Goblin.
Yeah. Well, see, the problem is they can't be on, like, a school trip now.
Why?
Well, because, for one, Ned and MJ don't know who Peter is anymore. And they're off at MIT. Whereas Peter is living in his little apartment now.
Yeah.
Like a freelance photographer, which, by the way, the end of No Way Home.
He could still be on a trip with his school, like if they're going to MIT.
I mean, I get
that makes complete sense then if they're going to an Oscorp from MIT to Oscorp, like to go do some kind of internship or something.
Which, by the way, end of No Way Home, when he's at his little apartment or whatever, because, you know, it's kind of very reminiscent of
McGuire's.
I just for the Russian guy to pop in and go, rent is due on the 1st or whatever.
Yeah.
Would have been freaking hilarious. Like, I love that they kept the same Jameson through all the Spider-Man movies.
Yeah.
Because he's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't remember the actor's name, but yeah, he's pretty good.
Invincible.
Pretty much. Looking funny. But he's pretty good at Jameson. I will admit that.
Like, I don't know. McGuire's movies had, besides Topher Grace, they had great casting. Just kind of, I mean, the movie fell victim to its time.
Yeah, I mean, same thing as the Fantastic Four and whatnot. Like, they just...
Yeah.
Different time is what it was.
Like, I still, like... So, I hate watching the Tobey Maguire original Spider-Man on, like, Disney Plus and all that. I hate it. Because I miss, like... If you look on my shelf in my living room, I still have the VHS of that movie.
Yeah.
I miss, you watch it and the credits roll, all of a sudden
the free music video
comes
Was
up.
it the free music video you had at the end?
Like, that song was so freaking good.
Yeah, they don't do music videos much anymore, do they? They do a lot of post-credit scene shit, yes, but like...
Did you watch the first post-credit scene? The third? Did you watch the 45th post-credit scene?
Yeah, did you watch the 32nd? Oh, my motherfucker, what?
I used to love like the first Deadpool post-credit scene, like when it shows him walking up. He's like, "What are you doing?
No, the Ferris Bueller thing. Yeah,
go away."
Yeah,
Like,
I need to get the
love
Deadpool
that.
movies. I don't actually own them. I think I might have the first one.
I got the first two. I want to find Once Upon a Deadpool. Still,
It's kind of that. Well, they probably will bring it back around in stores when the holidays hit because of how good the movie was.
maybe.
Like,
I hope they do because I want it.
they're bringing the games back and everything too. So just don't know when.
But God, like the fandoms, there's so much good and so much bad about it. Like,
I say a lot of like what would you find to be like the most wholesome fandom?
wholesome fandom. Wholesome, I probably have to go like the Power Rangers fandom. Close second would be Ninja Turtles because they're a family.
So I would have to say this is just me being biased recently, but I have found that Warhammer fandom is actually pretty cool. You want to know why?
Why?
Dude, it's because like the second that you're like you just like, hey, like, I'm interested in this or what is this? Like, and you start showing interest, they will. For this bad thing is they'll overload you, but then for two, they're all about it. Like yeah. So let me show you. Like they're very wholesome and like they want to, like they understand like it's a lot to take in. But that's is also the exciting thing is like, oh, let me show you the world that is this. And
I get that.
Not many people are like, some people are like, what? No, I don't. No, I'm not going to show you. Like, you need to you go do it around like I did. Like they're assholes about it or something.
I guess for me, like it's I remember growing up, my grandpa or my dad would sit down and watch Power Rangers with me, and now it's something I can do with my kids, my nephews, and all that. Same thing with Ninja Turtles. Like, I remember, like, my dad loved watching the Ninja Turtle movies with me growing up.
Yeah.
I mean, he was all about the martial arts movies and stuff like that, so that was kind of right up his alley. And beyond, like, the series themselves, like, just... I'm on a lot of groups for, like, Power Ranger fans and stuff.
Yeah.
And, I mean, with anything, you got the assholes in the group. But there will be like
you got the assholes, but like...
So like with the older Power Ranger fans and stuff, they'll be like, hey, I didn't watch it much as a kid. My kid wants to start watching Power Rangers, or I want to look into Super Sentai. Where should I start?
Yeah.
And there's always a good, well, from the beginning, obviously. But there's like people on there, oh, well, if your kid's not really old enough to understand some of the gritty storylines, stay away from this, or
Yeah.
if you're kind of weirded out by certain things, don't watch this season of Super Sentai.
I'm pretty sure most fandoms, like even with the stuff I like and whatnot, like
I think they all have a little
they've
bit
all
of
got that, but like some of them like are, you can definitely tell like are a lot more wholesome about it, or like the Ninja Turtle stuff, like the Warhammer. Some of the D&D style stuff is pretty nice about it too, but like anime, I feel like is fucking terrible about it. Like if you were to be I'm saying anime because there's a lot of different. There's just so many people.
My thing with anime, as much as I love anime. I do. It's one of my favorite things to watch. When you get, especially the people our age, like the millennial, like purist anime, and the people argue, oh well, don't call Avatar anime. Don't call this anime. I'm like,
it's anime.
I'm like, here's my thing. If I go on Netflix and search anime and it pops up, we're going to consider it anime for the sake of, like.
I mean, it is anime. Yes, it's cartoony, but when I think of cartoons, I don't think of anime. Like
I think of like Looney Tunes and stuff like that.
Yes, like when I think of cartoons, I think of like the Teen Titans Go, Amazing World of Gumball shit, the what was the stuff that we had growing up?
Animaniacs.
Yeah, Animaniacs and stuff. Yeah, like when I think of like anime, I think of like the kind of like how Street Sharks were and whatnot. Like
that was like American anime to me.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting
Gargoyles,
at. Like gargoyles. Like there's a darker story behind it than what's being shown to you. Like Avatar would be anime to me. Yeah, Digimon would be anime. Pokemon would be anime. Yeah. They're more cartoony.
Well, like
but they're
even
still
Avatar, Pokemon, stuff like that. That for one, all originated in Japan, much like Dragon Ball Z,
and it was anime
Gundam and everything else.
It was anime for them.
Like, and for me, like anime, I guess because of all the subgenres, they have so many people who are like, oh, well, like you don't really like anime if you don't like this or you don't like this. And
that's what I'm saying. Like
I think everyone should like anime because it has something for everybody.
It does. And
you want drama, romance, action, mech bots, aliens. I'm not talking about that kind of romance. That's there too, but we're not talking about that.
What about robots? What about aliens? It's got that too.
I said mech bots, aliens.
No. That kind of anime.
Yeah, well, those are there too. Like, look, you're getting more into hentai, which is a form of anime, but still,
that's anime.
Like,
they have adult anime with animals, adult anime with robots.
Is it Beastars?
Yes.
That one was weird.
People fucking love it.
It's weird.
I watched, I think the first 3 episodes. I was like, maybe it'll get less nasty and cringy. Nope, got worse. Nope, over it.
Yeah,
nope,
it was something. Yeah, it's like at work, our coworker, when I'll tell her random animes I've seen that are messed up, and she'll go home and watch them with her husband.
Yeah.
One of the guys at work said we should watch this anime.
No, we didn't. We said not to watch this.
No, I specifically told her to watch this one that I will not name on the off chance someone underage listens. Yeah.
Tell me afterwards.
But no, like I love anime, and a lot of the fandoms within anime, like the Dragon Ball Z one, I love Dragon Ball. Fans can be a little toxic.
Oh, especially in the games.
And then you have the Gundam fans. I feel like Gundam fans are pretty chill because they're not so outspoken, obvious.
Yeah.
Like they're mostly older dudes that are like
they've been
I don't even care anymore. I like Gundam. If you don't, fuck off.
Yeah.
I like kind of nerding out on some of the less popular fandoms like Zoids.
See, I love Zoids. I wish they would
Wish they would like just
Reboot
re-release
it.
it.
Or, yeah,
They don't have to reboot it. Just re-release it.
Do something like.
You know, Beyblade's another one I'm a really big fan of. Actually, Beyblading and all that has gotten kind of more popular with people our age.
Yeah, I mean,
it was our thing to begin with, but
that's why it got more popular.
Like, I don't know, but like, I feel like especially the more kid-friendly animes like Beyblade, Pokemon, Digimon, Yu-Gi-Oh! The fans of those are definitely like fairly wholesome for the most part, because it's like, you know, hey, you can do this with your kids now, but
so there's always gonna be something toxic about it, but there's also be stuff that's pretty wholesome too.
Like the Dragon Ball stuff, like if you're like, oh, my favorite part was like the Boo Saga, and everyone's like, of course it is. Oh my God, you're one of them.
Yep. I think Boo Saga was the best.
It was one of my favorites. My hot take on Dragon Ball Z is the dopest character, I'll argue with anyone, is Krillin. Like, not because he's the most badass or anything like that, but he was the weak link. He had no crazy powers, none of that. He wasn't going to go full on Super Saiyan.
He still doesn't.
Where was Krillin when action happened, though?
Fucking at the forefront.
He, swing on Boo, sure, gonna get like knocked the hell out immediately, but he never backed down. Like,
yeah, he's actually the strongest human.
Yeah, like in Dragon Ball, with outside of the obvious like Goku, Vegeta, he was my favorite character, and like close second, because he was so powerful, was Broly.
Yeah. Yeah, Broly, I feel like was a good character, but
like I love after he's just beating the hell out of Goku and Vegeta, and like after the fight, like
Goku, he's doing more than that. He's beating the hell out of Vegeta, Goku, Trunks, Piccolo. Like Gohan was even getting his ass beat.
I love at the end that like Goku sets him up. He's like, "Hey man, I want you to train so we can go again. That was fun."
Oh yeah, the new Broly.
Yeah. Like, I think that's the cool thing and the very wholesome thing about like Goku's character is like if you beat him up, he's just like, "Wow, good job."
He's got some things that are a little unforgivable, but yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's cliche anime dad.
True. I mean,
you are going to be a great warrior one day. Fades away.
You fucking watch your favorite character get blown the fuck up into pieces. Like, that's a toy now. Did you know that? It's a little fucking toy figure thing of Krillin being exploded. You can... What? Yeah. There is a figure you can get. It's quite literally exploding Krillin. And you can either have them all pieced together, or you can have him at the end of the explosion bits. Dude, it's messed up.
That is... Wow.
That's one of the best villain arcs, so I will tell you, like, Frieza did not give a fuck. And
I do like the Frieza arc, too.
It's the OG. Like, the Saiyan arc was fine, but, like, the Frieza arc, way better.
Yeah.
Like, yes, it was long, but you got so much from it. You got the Ginyu Force, you had just everything from Namek was good. The Namek, everything was good. And I think that's why I like the Boo Saga so much, was because it was very similar to that, but instead of it being multiple baddies, like the Ginyu Force and Frieza or whatever you just had the one. But the one kept becoming something worse every other week. It would be worse than what they were fighting the week before. So, I don't know. That's just me.
Yeah, but I don't know. Basically, like, I guess, we can all have our opinions on the fandoms. Ultimately, it's up to the fan. Like,
no, for sure, man.
with the exception of Twilight, if you just like fangirl out over Harry Potter, I mean, do your thing.
So just my opinions have been said. Like, I'm not saying that that's the end all be all, but for me,
Oh, no, the Twilight thing is end all be all. I'll fight anybody on that.
I'm not disagreeing with that. I was just saying, like, they're just my opinions, like my top three, and so on and so forth, and who's most wholesome, who's the worst, so on and so forth.
Like, if you do hate us who love the Boo Saga, that's whatever, you know.
You hate me because I like Marvel more than DC. Cool. I don't give a fuck.
I don't hate you, totally.
Wasn't talking to you, asshole.
But, like, this is, you know, all this nerdy stuff. We could go on for days, like.
I think that's the good thing about it, though, is that we can, because there's so much to it.
And there's constantly more getting added to it. Like, it's just insane. And
it's always nice to start discovering new things. That's why I'm so heavily into this Warhammer stuff, because how many places do you know where, like, you can just make up something and then it's continuity?
Yeah, like, I mean,
that. If it falls within the same parameters, I'm not going to be like, oh, a rainbow unicorn came out of the chaos deity's butthole and now everything's better. Hooray. Like, I can't do that, but, like, just, like, that doesn't make sense.
On the Candy Mountain, Charlie.
The magical Pleurodons, they're going to show us the way. Come on, Charlie.
But so, for our listeners, you know, hit us up, you know, comment or whatever on Facebook and all that, and tell us, like, you know, what are some of your favorite fandoms or least favorite fandoms?
Sorry to interrupt, but like they're like scoping your house out.
And it's crackhead down the road.
Okay,
but you know, what are some of your favorite fandoms and all that, and or your least favorites? You know, let us know. We're on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube as well.
I thought they were pulling in, but they kept going because, like, I saw them like when they first came up right here.
Are you the crackhead? Like, you're over here like geeking out over this.
It was weird because I'm like, you have company coming, bro? Because like they went to turn in, but then like straightened out and it kept going. So that's why I was like, you got somebody.
They're probably looking for somewhere to turn around, and they bridge does not look very inviting if you've never drove across it.
I guess.
But anyways, you know, hit us up on Facebook, Instagram.
Let me have my
YouTube.
ADHD moment, asshole. Your dog's a crackhead. Look at your dog.
She is. We're on Spotify, Amazon Music, all that stuff. Hit us up. And hopefully pretty soon, we're going to start like doing exclusive content to one platform or another. Like if we do like a live video, we'll probably do just Facebook.
Yeah.
Or just YouTube. So follow us on everything you got, because you never know where we're going to pop up.
Yeah, might be one week, one another week. Who knows?
Yep. We'll still obviously be releasing podcasts, but you know, exclusive content,
exclusive footage
can I don't know if it'll do anything for our followers, but it'll definitely be fun to do, like kind of interact with people and stuff like that. So with that being said,
I'm interacting with your dog right now.
You're interacting with the voices in your head right now.
Yeah, I am tired.
But I guess we're gonna jump off here so Yeti can go take a nap.
Probably take a Benadryl and take a nappy.
Catch y'all on the next one, man.
Have a good one.